In this video, we are busting 7 of the biggest myths that people believe about winning the lottery. And stick around until the end because one of these myths I lived myself. Myth number 1, nobody really wins. One of the first things I often hear is nobody really wins the lottery. People say you've got a better chance of being struck by lightning, dying in a plane crash, or even being killed by a vending machine. There are juicy headlines that we see in the media, but they're misleading. The truth? Real people win the lottery every single week, all around the world. And in fact, this happened to me when I was 21 years old. I won the Powerball, but now I have met and interviewed dozens of other winners, from people that have won anywhere from thousands to hundreds of millions and everything in between. The truth is that real people do win. I mean, try telling a lottery winner that it's not possible. It is possible. Just play responsibly, never spend more than you can afford to lose, but it is possible. Myth number 2, the lottery is a scam. Another one I hear all the time is that the lottery is rigged or that it's a scam. Now, there have been scandals. The biggest in the United States, of course, is the Hot Lotto case in 2010, where a man who worked in lottery security secretly installed software to rig the drawings, including a $16.5 million jackpot. I actually interviewed someone who helped take down the case. I will put a link to that interview right here. And that wasn't the first time that someone tried to cheat the system. Back in 1980 in Pennsylvania, a group of people tried to rig a drawing by weighing down ping pong balls, but investigators caught on to the scheme and it ultimately did not work. So what do these stories prove? They don't prove that the lottery is fake. They prove it's real enough that criminals try and fail to cheat. Today, the major games around the world, such as Powerball and Mega Millions in the United States, Lotto Max in Canada, Euro Millions, these major games have rigorous oversight, independent audits, and layers of security. So no, it's not a scam. In fact, it's one of the most heavily monitored games in the world. Myth number 3, people in California and Florida always win. I hear this all the time. Why do so many people in the states of California and Florida always win the jackpot? And it's true. There have been an overwhelming number of huge prizes awarded in both of those states. But one thing that I think is easy to overlook, they're 2 of the most populous states in the country. You can understand that if way more tickets are being sold, then it explains why this is happening. But if you dive in deeper and you look even in the rural states, such as Iowa, where I won back in the day, literally, you have the same chance as anyone that purchases a ticket in California or Florida. It is just as possible, and it only takes 1 ticket for a chance. Myth number 4 in this video, most lottery winners go broke. Now, this is one of the biggest misconceptions about lottery winners that I've ever heard, and I myself used to believe this, that the majority of lottery winners go broke within 5 years. I mean, people throw around numbers like 70%, 80%. I've even heard 90% of winners go broke. It's thrown around like it's a fact, which is really shocking when you actually look into the evidence. This statistic is not backed up by facts. Yes, there are people out there that fit this statistic that have made the headlines, and it does happen to some people, but it doesn't happen to 70% of the winners. That's just not true. In fact, what the research does show is quite the opposite. A 2004 study of Swedish lottery winners found that most didn't just keep their money, many grew it. And a 2018 study from the National Bureau of Economic Research showed that big winners were less likely to declare bankruptcy than the average person. But the rags to riches to rags arc makes for a very juicy headline, but the reality is most big winners are doing just fine. Myth number 5, money changes who you are. There's this idea that people have that if you win a lot of money, that it can change you. After I won the lottery back in the day, I had quite a few people tell me, just don't let it change you. And they really truly believed that. They were looking out for my best interest. Some people believe that if you win the lottery, you'll suddenly become arrogant, greedy, or completely different. But here's what I've learned from my own experience and many of the people I've met and interviewed. Money doesn't necessarily change who you are as a person, but it can magnify your personality for who you already are. If someone loves racing, they might buy a race car. If they're generous, they might give more money. I interviewed someone once that gave their entire lottery prize to help feed the homeless. But one thing that did change in my life after I won wasn't necessarily who I was, but how people perceived me and how I perceived other people perceiving me differently. Suddenly, I wasn't just Tim, the college kid, or Tim, the gas station clerk. Suddenly, I was Tim, the lottery winner, or Tim, the millionaire. And so it was how people perceived me. And that changed the social dynamics with some people around me, with how they viewed me. But the money didn't change who I was as a person. I believe it revealed who I was because it magnified my ability to do things or my personality. And that's the case for a lot of lottery winners. Myth number 6, you're set for life. Money solves everything. Yes, money can erase financial stress. That can be incredible, but it doesn't erase life. I mean, you still can potentially have new challenges brought on by the money. Instead of budgeting, how much am I going to spend on groceries? How much can I afford to do this and that? It might be, well, how can I trust someone to invest this money that they're not going to try to take advantage of me? Or how can I trust this person that they really want to be my friend or date me for the right reasons? Like, there are new potential challenges, and the notion that it solves everything and you are going to have no more issues in your life, that is a misconception. Money is powerful, but it's not necessarily magic. It gives you freedom and opportunity, but happiness and purpose, that comes from the inside. That comes from you. And myth number 7 in this video, you can't manifest a lottery win. Here's one that stirs a bit of a debate with some people, that you can't manifest a lottery win. Many of you know that I had a very vivid dream about my win about 3 months before it happened. I believed that it was going to happen. I told people, and then it did. It was very, very surreal then when I did win after all of this happened. But I've also interviewed several other lottery winners who believed that they were going to win for one reason or another. Some people have dreamt it. Some people believe they were following their intuition. Some people believe it was divine guidance from God or the universe. I've also interviewed scientists who gave their take on this and our energy affecting our reality. And look, manifestation isn't a magic button. You can't just snap your fingers and guarantee a lottery win. And it's important, of course, to always play responsibly, never spend more than you can afford to part with, and have fun. But at the same time, when we're talking about the lottery or getting a job or living your dream life or anything else that you want to achieve, belief, mindset, and energy matter along with our action steps. That is how things happen. So whether you use the word manifestation or not, it only takes one ticket for a chance. And if you believe you're going to win and you have a ticket, you have way more chance than someone that believes that they don't and they're not playing. And whether you call it God, the universe, or something else, many winners, myself included, feel there's more at play than pure randomness. So is it crazy to think that you can manifest a lottery win? I don't think so. I've interviewed people that have won hundreds of millions and all kinds of prizes that believe that they did just that. So try telling them that it's not possible. But of course, play responsibly. And I'm not here to convince you that manifestation is or isn't real, but this is my take on it, and I think it's extremely fascinating. So what do you think about these 7 myths? Which one surprised you the most? Comment below this video, and if you want to go even more in depth with misconceptions about what actually happens if you win the lottery, I've actually been writing a book, a memoir about my experience, And one of the chapters is on just this very topic. Check out the link in the description to get updates on that book. And if you play the lottery, if you don't, that's okay. But if you do play the lottery, which lottery games are you playing? Comment below this video with your thoughts. I love checking out your comments. Play responsibly if you play. Dream big, have fun. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support.
I woke up thinking to myself, oh, I won the lottery again. That solves everything. Like, I did it again. When I won the money and I got that first check, my life has been thrilling and happy for the last 26 years. I mean, if I knew how to do it again, I would have done it again a few times.
Do you ever have people that reach out and ask for money? Or
even today that happens, and no becomes your best friend. That's one of the great things about growing up in New York, is that you learn how to set your boundaries really quick. You know, you stand there and don't ask for my money, and no. This is my philosophy, take it or leave it. Money does buy happiness.